Welcome to the first chapter of our series, 5 times the government banned Christmas traditions. It got wild. You can't imagine a modern Christmas without a festive tree unless you lived in the Soviet Union in 1929. That year, the Soviet government, led by Joseph Stalin, passed a law that officially banned Christmas trees. Why? The traditional tree was condemned as a bourgeois and religious symbol that didn't fit the new socialist state's atheistic principles. Think of it like the United States banning apple pie because it's deemed politically incorrect or too exclusive.
And we all know what we can do with it.
Citizens were encouraged to turn in any remaining trees or ornaments to be publicly destroyed. But people missed the tradition, and history has proven most bans on popular things don't last forever. For example, America's prohibition on alcohol was happening at the same time. In 1935, Soviet officials realized the ban was unpopular. They strategically brought the tree back, but with a massive rebrand. It was renamed the New Year's tree, or yolka, stripped of all religious context, and shifted from December 25th to January 1st. It even got a new secular star on top. They also replaced Santa Claus with Ded Moroz, or Grandfather Frost, who delivers gifts on New Year's Eve, not Christmas Eve. The tradition became one of the most recognizable cultural symbols of the Soviet era. Next up, we dive into the craziest Christmas party in history, a social free-for-all that the government just had to ban.
If you think modern holiday parties get out of hand, you've never heard of the Feast of Fools, led by the Lord of Misrule. This was the craziest, loudest, and most legally threatening Christmas tradition in medieval Europe. For about 2 weeks after Christmas, the social order was completely inverted. The village selected the lowest-ranked person, a peasant, a choir boy, or a soldier, to wear a crown and become the temporary king. Under his rule, everything was permitted. Crowds would parade through the streets wearing masks and rags, bursting into churches, mocking officials, drinking heavily, and generally causing a gigantic societally accepted social disorder. This tradition was banned repeatedly across Europe by both church and state in the 16th and 17th centuries. Why? Because you can't have peasants mocking the king or the bishop and expect them to respect authority the next day. The chaos was too real, too disruptive, and too dangerous to the power structure. But the party kept persisting because of popularity. Think of the ban this way. It was like a modern government banning Mardi Gras or New Year's Eve in Times Square because the combination of public intoxication while also having the ability to be anonymous while being unruly was too big of a threat. Despite the new laws, society would likely reject them because they need an outlet to blow off steam on occasion. The spirit of the Lord of Misrule is still alive today, whether that be an office party, a Mardi Gras celebration, or perhaps a trip to Las Vegas. It just goes to show you that even when a government bans a custom to enforce authority, the human desire for chaotic fun usually finds a way to party on. Tell us, what's your version of a Feast of Fools that allows you to cut loose and blow off some steam? Next up, we go way back to the original Christmas ban, the one where the Christian church banned a pagan holiday symbol that is still central to our celebrations today.
In our previous series, 5 Quirky Stories of Holiday Traditions, we discovered why we kiss under the mistletoe, tracing it back to the pagan Celtic Druids as a revered medicinal plant that could help with fertility, and the Norse mythology role in elevating it to a symbol of peace and love. But did you know mistletoe was once put on a literal forbidden list? The early and medieval Christian church saw the plant as a direct threat, a remnant of the heathen religions they were trying to supplant. They actively prohibited the use of mistletoe in churches and public Christian celebrations, condemning its inclusion as a scandalous pagan practice that encouraged what they called licentious behavior. The goal was to cleanse the holiday of anything not strictly related to Christian doctrine. But the plant was simply too powerful a symbol to be erased from private homes. In 18th century England, the custom was formalized into the kissing ball, and the tradition of mistletoe was carried forward to today, and even rebranded in the Christian churches as a symbol of peace, healing, and forgiveness. Tell us, have you ever been surprised by a kiss while unknowingly standing under mistletoe? Next up, we discuss the time St. Nicholas was cancelled.
1929, the officially atheist Soviet government under Joseph Stalin formally outlawed Christmas. This religious ban targeted the Western figure of St. Nicholas in addition to Christmas trees. The government saw Christmas traditions as religious and folk celebrations as a threat to communist principles. Their goal was total cultural cleansing. They abolished the Sunday week, prohibited religious holiday observance, and officially declared December 25th an ordinary working day. But here is where the story gets wild. The government learned it was impossible to erase a 1,000-year-old tradition overnight. Instead of fighting the festive spirit, they simply rebranded the gift giver. In 1935, when the New Year's tree was reintroduced as a purely secular celebration, they resurrected the figure of Ded Moroz to stand beside it. They stripped Ded Moroz of all religious connection and officially moved his gift-giving duties to New Year's Eve. He became strictly a secular symbol of the Soviet New Year, often appearing with his granddaughter Snegorochka, the Snow Maiden. So, the figure of St. Nicholas, Ded Moroz, was canceled for being too religious, and the government only allowed a secular, state-sanctioned version of him to survive. Speaking of rebranding, next up, we discuss the time Christmas trees were banned in America.
We've covered mistletoe and St. Nicholas, but for perhaps our most surprising story, in early America, we didn't have the freedom to celebrate Christmas like we do today. That means no Christmas trees. In the 17th century, the Puritan colony of the Massachusetts Bay had a huge problem with Christmas. Much like their contemporaries in England, they saw the holiday as a carnal and pagan feast day filled with excess, gambling, and general disorder, which was the opposite of their strict religious ideals. In 1659, the colonial government passed an act that made celebrating Christmas a criminal offense. The law explicitly stated that anyone caught observing Christmas Day by forbearing of labor, feasting, or any other way would be fined 5 shillings.
You are violating the law.
This was one of the earliest official governmental attempts to cancel a religious holiday in America. The ban lasted for 22 years. During that time, they weren't just fining people for taking the day off. The simple act of displaying any form of Christmas decoration, particularly a festive tree, was seen as promoting the very pagan-like frivolity they were trying to stamp out. It was so effective that when Christmas was finally legalized again, it took almost 2 centuries for the Christmas tree to become popular in America, largely thanks to German immigrants and Queen Victoria's image of a festive tree being published widely. So, the Christmas holiday was banned by the American colonial government for being too loud, too pagan, and too fun. But it eventually came back with the very Americanized traditions we know today. That's all 5 times a tradition was banned. Did we miss a tradition? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to Short Bites of History.